Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock, and this episode is on the recent presidential debate that's asking the question, what is leadership? Of course, recently there was a major presidential debate pitting President Biden against former President Trump. It is a seminal moment in what is sure to be a contentious election season. Debates are pivotal because they target independent voters, those who haven't made up their minds yet, putting both candidates in the same space and allowing people to draw their own conclusions. Typically what happens is there is a debate, and then after the debate, both parties tell you how their candidate clearly won and is clearly the right answer for our country. What's most interesting about this particular debate is that didn't happen. The next day, there was a flurry of articles on the debate for sure, but from the Democratic Party's side, the overwhelming consensus was the question of whether or not President Biden should even be running. The consensus of the party was that his performance wasn't great. And even more than his policy proposals not hitting or his snappy comebacks not being so snappy was concerns about his health, about whether or not he's fit to lead the country. In fact, the most poignant article I read was by a childhood friend of his, an op-ed piece in the New York Times, that was actually begging him personally, using words like, "Joe, please don't run for the good of the country and for the good of the party." That's fascinating to me. Because the Democratic Party is basically saying to President Biden, hey, we know this is the crowning moment of your life. We know you've worked your entire life to get to this point to be president. We know that this determines your legacy. Are you a one-term president or a two-term president? We know that after you serve as president, there's not a lot of life left for you. We know this is the climax of your life. And yet, for the good of us, for the good of the group, for the good of the country, you shouldn't do it. That's interesting to me, not because it doesn't make sense. I mean, there's some nobility in the questions they're asking, but what was interesting to me is that it's completely at odds with the culture in which we live. I mean, look, a call for a leader to prioritize the group over themselves isn't new. Jesus himself said, greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. Jesus was referencing, of course, his own leadership, which would take him to the cross, to self-sacrifice, to death for the good of his people, for the good of his kingdom. The difficulty, though, is that kind of the ethos of our culture is not greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. Instead, our culture seems to say greater love hath no group of friends than this, that they let the individual do whatever they want, that they make life about the good of the individual. We live in a culture where the single defining thing of life is supposed to be my dreams, my ambitions, my preferences, my proclivities. Life is about me, and my friend group should really rally to that, get behind that, support that, empower and enable that. So I want you to see that the leadership crisis we're in, where one party is saying to their leaders, hey, we need you to think about something more than yourself. It isn't a problem that's unique to the Democratic Party. It's not even a problem that's unique to our political leaders. It is a cultural problem. It's one that you and I participate in, making life about the individual, making life about us. And the thing is, this is an area where Christians can and should be a contrast. In a culture that is about the individual, it should be Christians who are at the forefront of saying, hey, life isn't about me. Life is about loving God and loving my neighbor. We should be the ones looking for opportunities to sacrifice, opportunities to lay down our preferences, our dreams, our ambitions in an act of love for those in whom we are serving. The truth is, there's no quick fix for our leadership crisis. It's going to take every one of us deciding that our culture of individualism is a lie. And not only is it a lie, it's a damaging lie and a return to the message of Jesus. We're going to have to decide that greater love is not found in the group making much of me, but of me valuing other people more than myself. There's only one leader, by the way, who can take us there. And his name isn't Trump and his name isn't Biden. His name is Jesus, because he did exactly this for all of us. As his followers, let's chart a new course, a course towards true leadership, where life is about our neighbor and not about ourselves. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to get future content from Wake Up, Look Up and from Christ Community Chapel. And while you're here, check out the other videos we have available.